Okay, we have a drum beat. We've talked about the mapping editor, not with this though, with the drums. So we have, kick, snare, hi-hat. We have some other one-shots, samples, and whatnot. Now I'm going to have given you, I'm not walking through the process, but I will have given you a drum beat. And what we're going to do is bring that drum beat into Kontakt. Bill Withers 1 bar. I will have added it to the one-shot folder. And I'm going to keep things sequential here. So I'm going to make this 7/7, even though I've skipped 2 and 3. I probably would normally go back and kind of adjust that in my brain. The Bill Withers sample sounds like, let's see, what does it sound like? Can't do that. I gotta change things over here first. 7 and 7. Delete that. Come back over here. All right, so if you count that, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's one measure, it's 1 bar. So I'm going to go ahead and on my Bill Withers track, draw in 1 measure on C3. I'm going to mute this other stuff that doesn't make sense at the moment. Now, our tempo, or my tempo, because I never really talked about tempo, is 90. So if I listen to the drums and the drum beat, they don't match because this is, I believe, I don't know, something in the 80s. What I'm trying to get to is this idea, and I'm going to show you elsewhere. The guitar sample, for example, is rather long, so it kind of fit as I changed the tempo without talking about it. If I were to grab, I think I have it here somewhere. If I were to grab the guitar sample itself, the hit, you can see how much longer it is than the 2 measures that I drew out. So as tempo changed, it kind of just worked. And hopefully what I'm saying now will make more sense as I demonstrate it. All right, so if I were, actually might as well do that. Let's see. I'm going to drag the Bill Withers sample in here so you can see. Okay, so at 90 BPM, the Bill Withers measure is actually, about 1 1/4 measures. So I want it to play back at the tempo that everything else is playing. And there is a way within Kontakt to make your files match the tempo of your session. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to just keep these 2 things together so you can hear how they don't work. I'm going to come into Kontakt, go down to the Bill Withers file, open up the wrench, open up what's called the wave editor. And the wave editor is going to show you your file, essentially the waveforms within it. I'm going to come to Sync and Slice, this tab, and I'm going to click on Time Machine Pro. Time Machine Pro, forget if I mentioned it before in a different context, but it essentially, as samples normally, there's actually, let me explain it here. So where it says sampler here, or DFD, essentially they operate similarly. You can hear the drum beat, and then when I play it down lower, it's lower in pitch, but it's also playing back much slower. Or up here, it's playing back super fast and high pitched. If I change DFD, the source, to Time Machine Pro, then when I play it lower, it's going to pitch, but it's going to stay the same tempo. And it's actually much more musical that way in terms of being able to take something and make it. Okay, so that kind of is pretty cool. Now, leaving this on sampler or DFD and clicking on the waveform editor, this is slightly different. This is taking the sample and saying, I want you to actually match the tempo of my session and play back the whole thing. So I'm going to use Time Machine Pro. And now these two things should be in time. All right, now if I duplicate that, I forget what I did yesterday in my video that, why is this so high pitched? Let's go back and look, because that doesn't sound too cool. Bass. Am I using Time Machine Pro or something? No. Am I super... I don't remember why I did that. Did I move the mapping editor? Nope. All right, well, that sounds kind of weird at this point, and I don't care all that much. Look, one other place. Tone Machine. Tone Machine. That I wasn't meaning to show you. All right, better. Except that now they're out of tune with this stuff because I moved it. All right, I forget what I taught you, and maybe I didn't teach you. But right now, that was about using Time Machine with a one measure sample to match your tempo.